Okay, so we're going to start off this haul with the Eachine E013 small pepper. This is a 5.8 GHz FPV tiny whip clone. It's got its own transmitter. I think it comes with batteries, of course, charger, and it comes with the VR006 goggles, which is basically a complete set here. I think this is about 65 bucks. Okay, you get a manual here right off the bat. Looks pretty comprehensive. We'll look at that in the review. Got your toy controller. I like that. That's got some longer sticks. That's kind of nice. But yeah, typical toy controller here. Buttons, trims. Probably uses AAA or AA batteries. Don't know. This is the VR006, and it's a little different. Looks like they're only using one antenna, not the second one. It is so they get no antenna diversity. It's kind of interesting. I'm not sure why they didn't bother to do that. And this is the accessories that come with the goggle: USB charger, antenna, and head strap. And you get a USB charger for the drone battery, screwdriver, spare props. And here is the drone itself, and looks like you only get one battery. It's a little disappointing. It would have been nice if they would have had extras. I think these are probably standard 6mm motors. Full frame is kind of floppy. That's pretty normal for these models. You got a vacuum formed polycarbonate canopy. It's kind of nice looking. Pretty cool. And you got your FPV system here. It looks like a little holder for the button for the channels. I'll have a full review on this coming up pretty soon, so stay tuned. Okay, we got a bunch more new stuff here from Bold Clash. I think we got some motors and some cameras here. Let's take a look at what we got. Okay, so Bold Clash is now making an 0705 motor. This is just like the one from Racer Star, and the same one that's on the full speed BAT 100. And I'm going to be building the Toma Quads. I think it's called, I forget what it's called actually. I'll put a link in the description to that frame. It's not here yet, but he made a frame specifically for the 0705 and 0703 motors. So it's going to be similar to the BAT 100, but a little bit different. I'm going to be building out one for you guys that are interested in doing a build. Okay, we got another motor here. This is an 1103B 10,000 kV. So this is a pretty popular motor. I'm going to be making a lightweight build. Actually, I'm going to be replacing a motor on a different build. Actually, it's the Trans-Tech Aurora 90. I thought that came with some pretty big motors. I think that came with 1104 7500 kV motors. So I'm going to be replacing those motors with these lighter ones, making the overall frame even lighter. So and with a higher kV motor, I think that'll run pretty good. I'm going to change out the props, motors, the works, get that thing really flying well. It flies pretty well in 317 on the stock setup, but I think it's a little on the heavy side. And so I'm going to add on some lighter motors here. And so if you guys are looking for some 1103Bs, looking for an alternative source, Bold Clash also sells this motor as well. And I kind of like this black top and gold bottom. It's a pretty nice looking color. Okay, so if you guys remember the BWHIP B03 and also the BWHIP B03 Pro that I reviewed, these little tiny whip clones, didn't come with an FPV system on board. It was just a drone. And now they've come out with the camera pod. It's a pod and a camera and a video transmitter all in one that will go on top of this. And it might also fit some other tiny whip devices as well. But it's specifically made for this. I think it's got a lead right here that plugs into, there's a special plug on the flight controller on this board. So it should be a pretty quick video. We'll do that pretty soon. Gonna get that plugged in. You see I have 2 screw holes here. There's already, I think there's some screws on the flight controller underneath the canopy there. And then you get some nice 5.8 GHz FPV. And I think you got a little button here for changing your bands and channels. Yeah, this is pretty nice, and just plug and play. Got your whip antenna out the back, and you got your micro camera there and your video transmitter there. So it's a nice all-in-one setup, and might be something that other tiny whips could also use too. So we'll get on the review on this pretty soon. Okay, we got another Bold Clash product. It's called the P01 Whip Power Smart LiPo, also lithium high voltage 1S charger. So we got yet another 1S LiPo charger that is coming out. There's a bunch of them out there in the market. This one looks kind of nice. You get some plugs and adapters here. You got an XT60 to Dean's and some JST to micro low-C adapters. You get looks like a Velcro strap. Some instructions in there, and here's a quick look at it. Looks pretty nice. Looks like it can charge 6 batteries at the same time. Micro low-C, it looks like that's the MX, and then the MCPX is like 1.25mm and 2.0mm connectors for all of your tiny whip and micro drone batteries, the 1S drones. So obviously you can charge it off a LiPo from with an XT60 or a barrel plug with a 9 to 15 volt range. Yeah, I'll have a quick little review video present. Oh, you can also charge, it looks like this is maybe 5 volts and 2.1 amps out for USB charging. So if you want to charge up a USB device out from this charger, from the input on this side, then that would probably what that be. And then you got some light indicators for your different ports. It's pretty nice. Looks pretty similar to, I think, I forget what that name of the company was. It was a product from Bing. It was a little longer. But yeah, it's got a nice little LED indicator on there. I'll be reviewing this pretty soon. Okay, we got a bunch of new frame parts here from Flex RC. It just came in. Start off here with the new Ascent for 3-inch propellers. So this is the 3-inch frame of the Ascent, and you can see here you got the just a blown up version of the 2-inch that you've seen on my channel. And you got the 2 side plates here. You can take 20 by 20 stacks and 30 by 30 stacks. So I'm going to actually put my run cam split in here, so you get a nice little 3-inch setup for getting some HD recording, which will be pretty nice for a micro. Probably put on some 1407 motors, something like that. Pretty good setup. I'll have a video on a build for this one pretty soon, so stay tuned. I also have a couple of additional frames here. These are the LoRa, I think they're called the LoRa frame, L-O-R-A, I believe. This is for 2.5-inch props here, and then we got one here for 2-inch props. And this one takes, I think, standard 1104, 1105, 1106 motors. And then this one for 2-inch props will take the 110X series motors and also the 0703, 0705 motors. You can see the different mounting pattern there. Also 16 by 16 and 20 by 20 on this one. So multiple configurations available for this frame. And then all of these little pieces here are for the basically a pod for your micro Swift and like a video transmitter and a receiver like the VTX03 or something of that sort. And then this will sit on top of these 2-inch frames or 2.5-inch frames for your micro Swift. And so I'll probably build this out with this. Of course, you'll see that. And then this is the plate that this actually sticks onto. But I'll have a complete build video review of these parts in a future video, so stay tuned. Okay, we got the Freebie X215 Pro. This is a 5-inch racer. I think it's a clone of the D-Quad's Obsession. And here's a photo of it. I think as you know, I did a review on a Relay CC frame. Hopefully it doesn't have the similar problem with the arms where the motor mount is all whacked with the 1806 cutouts, because that just weakens the whole frame. If that's the case, then I'm not going to be too hopeful. Hopefully they did not have that same frame on this one. Okay, we got it's like a GoPro mount of some sort. And yeah, it's pretty squished right now, but it'll take the shape of a GoPro later once you stick it in there. Looks like this has a receiver already, got dual antennas. I think this is the Free Sky version. And they've got some spare spare props. You got red, green, and blue. You got the rainbow going here. They just threw the extra props on top. You got a pagoda antenna. And it looks like this is RP SMA. Yep. Okay, take a look at the bottom here, and oh, that's very good. They don't have the cutouts for the 1806 motor mounts, so this looks like it's not going to have that same problem that I had with the real ACC frame where the arm breaks right here at the motor. That is good, and it looks like this is pretty good carbon and plenty of space there. I'm not sure what kind of motors we got here. Unbranded. I figured that in the review, or you guys can check the link in the description for the specs. This looks much nicer than the real ACC frame, much more polished. XD60 here. I don't like that it's kind of just hanging there like that. There's nowhere to tie this off to. I'll have to probably tie it to the arm because that'll rip right off the pads off of the PDB there. So you got a PDB, no, it looks like a, it's interesting, it looks like it's a combo PDB with a current sensor and 4-in-1 ESC. I'll have to check that out. Flight controller, then you got a video transmitter stack here. The little pigtail is directly soldered there. You got little bands and channel indicator, and we're running looks like a FreeSky XM Plus receiver, so all good stuff. Don't know what kind of camera this is. I think this is that a variant of that eSheen camera. You can see the OSD joystick is right on the camera itself there. You've seen that review, and yeah, this has got that same big lens. It was a decent camera. It was advertised as a 16:9 CCD, but it was actually a CMOS camera, but it was a good camera. We've got 50-48 props here. I think I've seen this design a lot. These are okay props, not the greatest. Motors seem pretty smooth. So this prop nut is not on totally. None of these are tied down at all. So you can see that the props are loose. This carbon is really interesting. It's got some sort of a pattern in the carbon itself. Gives a really interesting look. Carbon, the arms itself are laminated. The arms are where the frame is a sandwich design, so the arms should be replaceable, assuming that spare parts are available. But yeah, this looks pretty nice, and looking forward to flying this around. This should be pretty fast. Okay, got another micro here from Full Speed RC, the Fighter 130. So Full Speed's been coming out with a bunch of models lately, and they definitely have some good things going. I think they're turning into a popular brand. Okay, here's everything out of the box. And for you guys that aren't into the building scene and just want something to fly, Full Speed RC is definitely a company to check out. They have good builds, ready to fly, or almost ready to fly out of the box. These do require adding your own receiver, and it's not that difficult to do in adding a receiver to these. So if you are into the buy it and fly it philosophy, I'd check these guys out. Looks like we got a camera here and a separate video transmitter. It's not an all-in-one, and you got the antenna sticking kind of here. It's kind of short. Would prefer a longer antenna there. It's probably 25 milliwatt, so gonna have to rearrange that to get some better reception. And I've heard that they've switched motors lately in the more recent builds. Now the red cans are gone. Now they got these black Full Speed branded motors, these SZ Speed. And this is an 1106 7500 kV motor. It's a very beefy, very big motor. You can see here. Should have a ton of power. Yeah, so it's a new motors here, and we got countersunk screws on the bottom, so it'll be flat for your battery. I'm gonna probably ditch the Velcro strap here. I never use that. I use my rubber bands like I always do. I think it's a 1000 TV line camera. It might be 800 TV line. I'll have to check the description on the product page. I'm not 100% sure. 130 millimeters motor to motor. So it's going to run 3-inch props, and you got these sort of old school bullnose props here. You know, this is a pretty old school two-bladed prop. Not sure I'm gonna like these too much. I'm gonna try probably some gem fans and some Rotorex 3020s, maybe some tri-blades. We'll see. We'll try some different props here, see what we can get. But yeah, I'm not too enthusiastic about these. I kind of wish that they went away from the JST with these bigger motors. The 1106 is going to suck a lot of amps, and this little JST is probably not going to do so well. I'm going to probably switch that out. I already know it's going to be a problem. Comes with the same 500 milliamp hour 30C2S battery with the JST. Again, probably going to be hearing that buzzer going off pretty much right away. Yeah, they got a buzzer in the back here, so I expect that to happen. Probably going to have to do a few mods, mostly XT30 on here for sure, and one on here, or use a different battery. And you get some extra standoffs and some screws and some Velcro. That's about it. So basically you're going to install your receiver, bind it of course, and a lot of times these are pretty much ready to go out of the box. You just have to make a couple of changes, tweaks in Betaflight Configurator, but I'll have all that stuff in the review later. Okay, so we just got some new 30 amp 32-bit ESCs from Nadisi, and these are the BL Heli 32, and I'm going to be getting more and more of these because I think now that Betaflight 3.2 is pretty much ready to go, I think people are going to want to go to these 32-bit ESCs to get all the new features, especially something like turtle mode, for example. Definitely got to go with something like these ESCs. Okay, so here's a quick look at them. They're rated 2 to 4S, and it looks like they have a little current sensor there, so we should be able to get some telemetry back on these ESCs, one of the new features of BL Heli 32. I will have this on a build soon, and we'll test that out and see how these perform. This looks pretty decent, and it comes in a pack of 4. Put a link in the description, of course. I'll check it out if you want to check it out. Okay, we just got some new props in here from iFlight RC. And I think they sell their stuff on Amazon. 5-inch props. So it looks like they come in 3 colors, red, yellow, and blue. And they're actually called Nazowl, I think. Nazowl. Okay, so yeah, this is a really interesting looking shape. These are, what pitch is this? 5061. So yeah, pretty steep pitch here. You know, very unusual shape. It's way above the hub here, and it's got a really large scoop, and it's a little splayed up on the tip there, going up. It's a really different shape, and I haven't flown anything like this yet, so it'll be interesting to see how they fly. They're not too flexible, not too stiff. They feel a little thicker in the center part than out in the outside. So have a review on this and flight demo coming up soon, so stay tuned for that. Okay, I got this new frame from my RC Mart, and it's a micro frame, 20 by 20 stack. It'll fit a Micro Swift or a Micro Aero 11.0X motors. I think this will fit up to 2.8 inch props, and it's got the side plate design, the vertical side plate design that a lot of these new frames have. Pretty inexpensive frame, I believe. This is, I think it's around $12, I think. But the carbon looks pretty nice. Beveled edges. Feels really stiff. I believe it's 3K carbon, and it does look like it has countersunk screw holes there, so you should get a flat bottom for your battery, and you got all your standoffs and screws and hardware here, and it looks like that's a camera mount for an all-in-one camera if you don't want to use the mount for the all Microsoft. So I'll eventually have a video on this pretty soon. Let me know if you guys are really interested, and I will move it up in the schedule if I get a lot of comments. Otherwise, it'll just go into the queue with the rest of the other reviews.